Good morning, trading world. It is May 2nd, 2023, and this is my pre-market outlook and technical analysis for day trading the markets. The title of today's outlook: the FOMC meeting begins and big earnings loom large over the market. I expect today to be pretty much a tentative day where nothing really happens. We get some movement in both directions, but ultimately unchanged on the day. This is in preparation for the pre-FOMC drift that will happen. I'm expecting an extreme reaction one way, then an extreme opposite action. The biggest thing on the docket today is AMD's earnings that will take place after hours today. There may be another short-lived pop up on AMD before continuing down to support. The other thing that I am watching today, the Fed Watch tool has us pricing in a 95.9% probability of a 25 basis point rate hike. The crazy thing about this is that people will still jump ahead looking for rate cuts. Meanwhile, companies like Meta are taking off like a rocket to the upside, but not on any new innovations or technological advances, but just on cost-cutting layoffs. Let me ask you something. How long do you think we can continue with the good news and fuel to the upside being only cost-cutting layoffs? How long before all these layoffs add up and the market finally begins to think about what's going on and we see another adverse reaction? With that being said, let's get to the key levels of the day. All right, here we are back with the key levels of the day. Starting on the resistance side, we have our Jack resistance at the 415 area. Queen resistance 416 to the 417 area. And then our King resistance 418 to the 419 area. On the support side, we have our Jack support at 414. Then we have our Queen support at the 413 to the 412 area. I expect we may get close to this area at some point today, either on the reversal before going back up, or if we choose to go up first, this may be where we try to find our way back to toward the end of the day. But I'm thinking maybe down first today. Then we have our King support, which is 411 to the 409 area. It's been a while since I've had this today, but the main thesis for today is actually it's a 50-50 bias, meaning there's just as much of a chance that we can close above the 415.51 as is closing below the 415.51. The alternate thesis is actually more bullish being with us closing above the 415.51 with a projected target high of between 415 and 419. And just to say, on the low side, our projected target low is between 415 and 410. The main channel that we are in is between 397 and 416. Yesterday, market strengthened breadth, opened gap down, and began pushing back up immediately, finding a top around 11 a.m. to play a range-bound back and forth fade for the rest of the day. I expect strength to open where it left off to maybe a bit weak, being range-bound on the day. We do have dissonance between the technical side, which is bearish, and the quant side, which is 50-50. The futures have a bearish bias for the day, with harmony between the technical side, which is bearish, and the quant side, which is bearish. And because of that, I would put, even on the SPY, more preference to the downside today. This brings us to the scenarios of the day. All right, our first and most probable scenario today is going to be our expanded range A structure. We could get a morning weakness, seeming like we will stay weak on the day, but reversing and going back to retest, maybe not quite the highs of yesterday, but back into the range that we were in yesterday. So this is our highest probability, but not by much, our expanded range A structure. All right, here we are with scenario number 2. It's going to be our rounded reversal day type structure. We could get a continued push. Let me correct this. After some pre-market woes, we could get a continued push higher toward the Jack or Queen resistance area and find midday chop possibly around the Queen more so resistance area before going back down with the same energy of force we went up with the first part of the day. So that is our rounded reversal day type structure. I do want to make you aware of the vice versa alert, which could be as such, where we get this continued push lower through the cash open, find our midday chop around either the possible Queen or King support area, and then the second half of the day we get a push back up with the same force or energy that we went down with the first part of the day. So that's the vice versa alert on our rounded reversal day type structure. All right, our last scenario is going to be our trend day down day type structure, meaning we open gap down, start with a pushback toward the previous close represented by the blue line. We find resistance on or before that previous close, then begin the downtrend for the day. We usually find midday chop around either the possible Queen or King support area. And at that point, usually, but not always, the second part of the day, we usually come out trying to continue the primary trend of the morning. But at some point, it usually turns into a head fake and we get some type of pop or slight rally going into the close at some point. So that's our trend day down day type structure. Remember, we're getting ready for the FOMC announcement, so there could be this drift, and this drift could be to the downside for a good ways, either before the meeting, and then during the meeting we get that last push down, and then a immediate reaction headed back up. Or it could be the opposite, where we start to kind of get that push going back up, and then that extreme reaction down. If it goes that way, it's just hard for me to see us going straight down from here, especially with where the large time frames are still trying to push back up. So again, it's kind of hard for me. I can't say that it can't happen, but I still see a pop back up toward that 419, 418 area at some point, even after the FOMC announcement. So with that, as always, your most important job as a trader is to protect the capital that you already have. We do this by knowing and understanding the risk that we have on in each position, and also watching out for the actual risk in the current market conditions. We manage this risk in accordance to our account size. I hope this helps. Wishing you a positive trading day. Let's go out and make it a great one.